All right. Welcome to this episode of 3 by 3, the interview series where our guest chooses to answer three questions or give us 3 minutes of his time, and three questions always leads to more. In this episode, we're connecting with Shawn Neville, who's the CEO at BOA Technology. BOA comes out of the snowboard industry, and its first product to hit the market back in 2001 was a dial-based lacing system for snowboard boots that really locked the foot in and enabled the rider to feel more connected. I know that from personal experience for many years. And today, the BOA Fit System can be found in applications all over the place. Dozens of sports and product applications. The company has blossomed and makes a difference in lives for sure. And Shawn's been the CEO at BOA since 2017, with other career highlights over the years, including stops at Reebok, the retailer Footaction, and Wolverine World Wide. All of this, and these are fairly big positions too, or big positions rather, all of this while maintaining involvement with the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America organization for decades. And that's commitment, and that's what caught our attention, and inspired us to ask Shawn a few questions. Thanks for your time today, Shawn.
Well, it's great to be here, Chad.
Much appreciated. So, why is the Big Brothers Big Sisters of America a focus to you, an important use of your time over the period of decades?
Well, it's been a part of my life. I like many, had tragedy in my youth. I tragically lost my father when I was 8 years old, and it was my two sisters and my mom that had to go through a quite difficult time. And we endured. I was fortunate enough to get scholarships through school and able to put myself in a position in 1986, just a couple of years ago, to truly think about what role I play in society, not just trying to achieve, but how to give back. And even though I was just 22 years old, it was very important to me because I felt fortunate that we were able to work through that. And I saw an ad on television for Big Brothers Big Sisters in Phoenix, Arizona, and I actually started to cry. I'm like, I got to be involved in this, and I think I can give back. And so I became a big brother to start. And in fact, unfortunately, he passed last year, but we were close throughout his entire life, and I hopefully had an impact on him. And I was kind of the big brother of all the kids in that family that had gone through quite a bit of tragedy themselves. And then as I was fortunate enough to do better in life, I got involved in a number of their organizations. I was on the national board, brought a school-based mentoring program to Footaction to all 500 plus stores that we had. I was involved in also in Boston when I lived there, and also connected them to scholarship programs and making sure we created a better path for these kids, not just mentorship, which is fantastic, but can we create opportunities? And then I moved to Denver in 2000, and just at the end of 2016. And ironically, I was at an event for Big Brothers Big Sisters serendipitously, and I immediately got involved in the board. And then we started launching a number of major initiatives around connecting kids to scholarships, to better lives. And fortunately, the BOA crew loved it. It's become part of their lives as well. So it's inextricably linked to, I hope, who I am, and just want to get back.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it is inextricably linked to who you are as a person, and the fact that you found a connection to it at such a young age, at 22, with nobody wanting you to find that except for yourself, is really interesting in and of itself. I mean, had you finished college by that point in time, or were
Yeah,
you?
I was just in my second year at Procter and Gamble out of college. So, I'd done a bunch of things in school. I guess I always felt grateful. So I think you give back when you feel grateful in life. And so if you feel like, irrespective of your circumstances, it's just a natural reaction to whom we are and what we do. So I don't think it was a radical shift in who I was. I think it was just another extension of hopefully expressing myself and maybe hopefully helping a bit.
That's so cool, man, and it makes sense, and that's probably why you were able to, and still are, rather present tense, why it's been such a part of your life and so interwoven into who you are as a person. That's really inspiring that you get that much out of it. Along those lines, I mean, you give a tremendous amount of yourself, and the help that you give these people, the stories inside of that are probably endless, right? Like, and what is the I guess, the benefit to you as the person who's in the role of the mentor?
Well, it's unfair. I get more advantage than the kids typically. I think, interesting. Every board meeting that we've had or that I've led, every event that we've had, there's always we call kind of a mission moment, like just the discussion of a situation, because it's all small moments in our lives that make a difference, right? It's not the big bang. It's the little moments. It's showing respect. It's someone cares for me. And so for me, I've had so many of those, and even I'm now chair of the gala. I think I'm even though I'm off formally on the board, I'm still in charge of the gala and making sure we galvanize around a lot of things. But I can't wait for those moments. I think I've probably heard 500 of them. And at the funeral of my little last year, it was interesting. It was serendipitous there as well, where their family actually spoke of me and the impact I had on their lives, each one of them. And I didn't expect it, but it just reminded me that I don't recall doing that much, but the impact was great. So it just was a reminder of those little things.
What a feeling to know that you've had such a big impact, and humbling and inspiring, and I'm sure full of gratitude at the same time. I mean, on a personal level, that's so awesome. And then on a professional level, how did you figure out how to weave it into your career and bring the organization into your work life?
Well, the essence of those two coming together, I believe, are uh, consistent with how I've always thought about leading a company and what matters to myself, to the organization, and to whoever we work with. And it's this interesting combination of kicking ass, which means it's about high performance, pushing oneself. If you're in innovation or if you're in the sports industry or technology, how are you pushing the limits of human performance? While concurrently always caring, making sure that whether it's someone in the company, our partners, factory workers, consumers, that every one of those we think about in everything we do. So part of that, of course, is what you do every day. And we've got to make sure we create the right environment and people feel that cool combination, because I think it's an interesting combination that creates incredibly positive friction about what we do. And then as it relates to organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters, once you've created that culture internally, making sure that people feel grateful for the impact we have and how do we influence others around that, and making that possible within a company, not forcing it, but giving our teams, especially a lot of our young employees, access to that they may not think about. I was lucky enough early on to do it for many different reasons. But for others in our organization, say, wow, that's pretty cool. We brought someone into our town hall to talk about what's happening in the community, or wow, and what they could do. And it's actually simple. It's a gateway for them to have an even better life, hopefully. And interestingly, fortunately, we got a lot of cool people at BOA, and I really appreciate all of them. And I think they've seen that, and we've been involved with Chill organization, with the Burton organization as well, which is bringing people to the outdoors. Also, the Denver Scholarship Fund, we're involved in POW and many others. But when we get in, we want to make sure we're making a physical difference, not just a dollar. And I think our folks appreciate that, and so do I.
Oh, that's awesome. Inspiring, and a great way to do business and be. It's like a high performance team, like a professional team type of mentality. And that's fantastic. And so where you are currently, and you've been for nearly a decade now, believe it or not. You've been able to bring Big Brothers Big Sisters into to BOA. So what led you to BOA, and how's Big Brothers Big Sisters coming into the organization?
Yeah, it's I think like all of our lives, there's a circuitous route that we all take. We have an essence of who we are and potentially what we want to be and impact. For me, it was quite interesting. I was sitting in a board meeting in Boston. I had made a decision. I was living in New York and Boston at the time, and I was on the board of Zildjian Cymbals. I'm a musician that's not made it yet, but I love it. And at dinner, interestingly enough, one of the board members was recruiting for BOA. And I didn't know BOA very well. And my background in consumer products sports industry, also technology around RFID with the Avery Dennison company that I ran as well. There's this interesting combination of emerging disruptive technology with the essence of aspiration to achieve more and be something, while also the discipline of consumer products. Hopefully that combination somehow made me an interesting candidate. And my best friend, who we were triathletes when we were younger, you won't read about us, we weren't that good, but that's because triathletes, there weren't that many of us. So we were world class because I think it was just a handful of us. But I called him about the company, and he was still a top cyclist. And he said, I think this is interesting. And I had ideas about where we could take it and really build it as a truly performance foundation. And so that's kind of how it came, this combination of me moving to Denver. I was probably going to come here to run a nonprofit and just invest. I was lucky enough and fortunate enough that work wasn't necessarily something I had to do. It was only if it was something interesting. So that's kind of how I came to BOA.
That's awesome. And Big Brothers Big Sisters, it's you've brought the organization into BOA, right? Like there's active involvement between the people at BOA and the organization.
Yes, we do a number of things other than just sponsoring. We imagined and created this program called Career Possibilities, which brings in kids a couple times a year. We have typically 40 to 50 of them in the organization that we walk them through all of what we do. So the whole goal is to connect STEM, outdoor community, with kids that maybe have never imagined it. So we started it 5 years ago, and many of our organization get involved. We show them how to use a 3D scanner, how to basically create a CAD system. It might be our prototyping machines. It can be marketing, graphic design, finance. And we want them to walk away and give them a laptop and a bunch of BOA gear so they look and fly. But ultimately, our hope is that they walk away and say, wow, I never knew I had to study that or learn that. And now I can see why that can connect to something. So that has been a terrific program that we can connect our teams with. We've got a number of folks that are doing also mentorship as bigs or littles. And then they show up at the events and we try to bring it.
That's so cool. I mean, talk about opening the mind of imagination for the kids in the program. That's awesome. And in forward looking, you're creating, like, you're giving them a potential career that maybe they didn't think existed, and that's such a useful and awesome thing to do for a community. And it inspires the question of, so what's next for BOA and what's next for you? What's the vision that you guys are pursuing?
Well, we've already, I mean, we have, the foundation of kind of our vision, mission, values, which, and I know it sounds mighty a little trite, but this inspiring and enabling peak performance, it has a double entendre. This issue of for athletes, for employees, and then within the industries and countries we operate in. We're fortunate today to be in 6 major industries, and in that 39 subsegments, that the potential is for us to be on well over 1 billion systems globally. Today we're somewhere in the range of 30 million, and it's grown considerably, but we stay really focused. So within the next 10 years, as it relates to snow sports, we launched alpine ski a few years ago, and it's been pretty exciting as we've really looked to disrupt the traditional buckle market. We're actually launching this year a complete revolution in snowboarding. So snow sports is our home and important in the cycling industry, the workwear industry, the outdoor industry, from mountaineering to trail to athletic to actually helmet technology. We're trying to essentially look at rethinking the entire stack structure of helmets for fit and performance and embracing technology. So we have all this framed out in a game plan for 10 years from now. And that, not that size matters, because we've been fortunate enough to grow to an exciting size, but we see with total focus on what we need to achieve with the targets that we have to potentially triple the company again, but still be the same company, still have the same vibe. We don't have to compromise, and very few more brand partners. We work with the coolest brands in the world, and they're our friends, and we also have great positive conflict with them.
That's fantastic. I mean, talk about a bright future and a great career opportunity for people who who might be interested or listening, I mean, the getting into helmets and helmet closure systems is absolutely where BOA belongs, because I mean, there's nothing more important to protect than our head, right? And
Absolutely.
it sounds like a great product extension for you.
Yeah, if we can correlate that with the aspect of safety and looking at different factors. So we've got a number of material scientists looking at other factors, and so we're incredibly we believe we're incredibly focused. So we're not going into a room saying, "Gee, what's next?" It's all about refining how we can be more important to those athletes and brands and consumers in those industries, and it really keeps, I think, the team in a really good place. And they're, you know, they're most of them are a lot younger than me, and they're a lot cooler than me, and I want to keep it that way.
Well, that's a great way to have it, and I'm sure they might not want to try to compete against you in a triathlon, or maybe they would.
Oh, anybody could now. There's no
Uh,
problem. Maybe swimming. I can still swim.
no, that's fantastic. That's a good one to keep. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for your time today and your inspiration. It's fantastic, and I know that everybody's going to be inspired by this listen that we've just put together.
I appreciate what you do and the connections you create. It's important in multiple industries, especially the industries that we play in. And so what you do matters. So I just want to say thank you to you as well.
Right on. Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. I hope you have a great weekend.
You too.